In this Can You Build It, we are going to make a program to play rock, paper, scissors against. It's a big 3-day weekend. You have made some awesome plans with friends, but you just found out your little cousin is coming over. They think you are the best, and they love playing games with you. You want to keep your plans, but you don't want to let the little dude down. Luckily, you have a microbit, and you can program it to play rock, paper, scissors against them. Let's look at some pseudocode. This program is a little more complex than the ones we've worked on before, so pseudocode is a roadmap that you follow when designing a program, and it's even more important now that the program gets more complicated that we're looking at the pseudocode. Alright, now I want it when I press A, we've done that before, pick a number 0 to 2. This is interesting. We haven't made a random number yet. We're going to need a place to store that random number. We'll come back to that. But why is it 0 to 2? Because if you count all those numbers on your fingers, you get 0, 1, 2. That's 3 total numbers. 1 for each rock, paper, scissors. We can see that then we are using an if statement. Another thing we haven't looked at yet. If that number that we generate is 0, I want to output a rock. If that number is a 1, I want to output a paper. If that number is a 0, I want to output scissors. If you think you can build this program, go ahead and pause right now. Go ahead and pause on the pseudocode. See if you can make it. If you can't, that's okay. Come back, watch the video, and build along with it. Let's get started. I'm over at Make Code. I'm going to make a new project. And I don't need onStart or forever. I'm going to start with my input, because I want when button A is pressed to do these things. If I go to math, making a random number is math. We can see that there's pick a random from 0 to something. In this case, 0 to 10. I want it to be 0 to 2. But just picking a random number, see how it's grayed out? That's not enough. We have to assign that to a variable. So we're going to come over to variables. Sometimes there'll be variables in here, sometimes not. We need to make a variable. And I can name it whatever I want, but it's important that I name it something that's easy for me to remember. So when I look at it and say, oh, got it, that's a variable for this. So I'm going to name this random. Now I can pull out a set random. Remember, this is just a box. Random is a box that will hold my number for me. And I don't want to set to 0. Just naming it random does not make it random. I'm going to drag up this math function of pick random 0 to 2. And then we'll see it. I want to make sure my program's working. So I'm going to go to basic. And I'm going to show number, because this is a number, and I'm going to have it show me my random number. And pull out random. When you're creating code, you want to test each bit of it as you make it to make sure it's working. So let's see. I got a 0. I got another 0. Got another 0. I got another 0. Something's not working. Or is it? What is the chance I get that many zeros in a row? Or that many 2s? So it looks like it's working. I'm just getting a crazy number of repeats in a row. Whew, for a second there, I was worried. Alright, but we don't want to show this number. So I'm going to get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. Instead, I want to show a rock, a paper, or a scissor, depending on the number. That requires some logic. And we've got a bunch of stuff in here. I'm going to pull out this logic statement. I need to do a comparison. So if whatever goes in this diamond box is true, then it will do what's under here. So I'm going to go back over to logic, and I'm going to do a comparison. put that in here. All right, so what are we comparing? We are comparing our random number variable called random to, is it equal to 0? If it is, show a rock. Cool. Let's have my rock look like that. We could test it, but this will only show if we get a 0. Okay. So it showed. Now I want to have it do something different if it's a 1. Gonna hit that plus. Gonna hit that plus one more time. See, now I've got another one of these. So again, this is logic. I'm going to pull out my comparison. And I'm going to go to variables, pull out random, and instead of being equal to 0 this time, I want it to be equal to 1. And then I will draw my scissors. There we go. Those look all right. This is kind of neat. So I don't need to check if I ever get a 2. And I'm going to prove to you that, and then I'm going to explain why. Pull out another one, and this will be my paper. I'm going to have this one be all the way filled up. Alright, let's see if it works. Okay, I got scissors. I got paper. I got scissors. I got paper. I got paper. And there's a rock. Cool. So why don't I need to check for that third? Remember, we're only making 3 possible choices here. A 0, a 1, or a 2. If it's a 0, it's going to do this. Then it's going to come down here. And if it's a 1, it's going to do this. And if it's literally anything else in the world, it's going to do this last one. Anything else in the world will be paper. But since we're only making 3, that basically means the only other thing in the world could be 3, so 3 will make paper. Pretty neat. So we now have a functioning rock, paper, scissors program to play against. Can you make a better rock, paper, scissors program? Let me know. I hope you found this Can You Build It instructional and fun.